quarterback coach is forced to break his silence and admit all of the quarterbacks is getting QB reps with the scout team. Guys, for this is coming out with the Cleveland Brown practice, and it's being said that Shedeur Sanders is not getting these QB scout reps, bruh. And I'm here to tell you, I believe he ain't. Now, quarterback coach Bill Musgrave has forced his hand into the matter because he just spoke to reporters moments ago, pretty much explaining that, you know what, all of the quarterbacks are getting their scout team reps.
The Browns quarterback coach just went all-out savage on Shedeur Sanders during scout team reps. Bill Musgrave didn't just throw shade, he lit up the whole stadium with how brutally real he kept it. Forget polite coaching talk. This was straight-up reality show drama dressed up as football practice. Why is Shedeur catching wild heat in drills meant for practice dummies? This mess turned a simple preseason rep into something that feels straight out of Netflix. Only in Cleveland could the Browns turn a throwaway drill into a daytime soap opera, with Shedeur Sanders cast as the unwilling star. Scout team reps are supposed to be the most forgettable part of football, guys jogging through fake plays that don't even count. But in Cleveland, even running pretend Baltimore plays somehow explodes into full-on drama. And at the center of the storm is quarterback coach Bill Musgrave, dropping his unfiltered thoughts with the force of a hammer smashing straight through glass. 1 second it's practice, the next it's a headline, and Shedeur is left wondering why his name's being dragged across the field like this. Now let's hit pause for a second.
That is so true what you said. Neither of these guys have ever not been the guy. And that happens a lot with guys who enter the NFL. They've been the starters their whole lives. And so there's a transition there. And for the first week, they did a nice job. They immersed themselves, both of them, in the game plan. Did a lot of drill work on the side, both before and after practice. And then they get some scout team reps so they can get some balls airborne and make sure that they're staying in sync, of course, because really Dylan being 1 play away and Shedeur being 2 plays away.
Because when somebody says brutally honest, you expect fireworks. You expect that wild, jaw-dropping moment that makes fans spit out their beer and start screaming at the TV. But with Bill Musgrave, his truth hit different. More like when your math teacher busts you cheating, but instead of roasting you, she hits you with a 3-hour lecture on the Pythagorean theorem that makes you wish detention came with a pillow. And hidden inside his monotone football sermon was this little gem. Yes, technically Shedeur is getting scout reps, but come on, that's about as believable as Cleveland booking a Super Bowl parade for February. Everybody with half an eye can see the vibes off. Rumors are flying that Shedeur ain't getting a fair shake. Other young QBs are actually throwing passes, while Shedeur's biggest stat line might just be stacking Gatorade cups nice and neat. And Musgrave, the guy fans thought would bring some clarity, turned around and served reporters a plate of word salad, acting like everything's all sunshine and butterflies. If that's what brutal honesty looks like, then I'm sitting here the richest man alive. And trust me, it only gets crazier from here. Musgrave made sure to hammer home the point that Shedeur is just 2 plays away from being on the field. 2 plays away. That's like telling somebody they're 2 scratch-offs away from hitting billionaire status.
It turns out that when they're running scout team offense, Shedeur Sanders is not allowed to touch a football. According to Rizzo in Cleveland, Shedeur Sanders isn't even on the field for anything. He's a bystander watching practice. And I happen to love that, because for everyone out there that was yelling and screaming about how the Browns were disrespecting Shedeur and the NFL disrespected Shedeur, if a dude can play, you find a way to play him, period, stop. So the fact that he started the season off as the 3rd quarterback, and now we're finding out he's 4th behind Bailey Zappi.
And sure, technically it's true, but in reality, it means you're broke, desperate, and praying for a miracle. In Cleveland, 2 plays away really translates to 2 catastrophic injuries, 1 medical miracle, and a blessing from above before Shedeur even sniffs a snap that counts. Instead, the man's been handed a glorified poster board assignment. Think about it. This is Deion Sanders' son, raised on football royalty, hyped up as the next big superstar. Yet here he is, running around practice, pretending to be Joe Burrow one week, Lamar Jackson the next, except without the shine, the stats, or the paycheck. It's like they've turned him into the NFL's best impressionist instead of a quarterback. At this point, the Browns might as well sign Shedeur up for an acting class, because apparently his NFL career is less about playing quarterback and more about perfecting his imitations.
Even ESPN has reported that Shedeur Sanders is not receiving any reps. That means no second team, third team, not even scout team reps. Meaning he's just sitting in practice, throwing the ball to whoever and just going through drills all day. No practice reps? No nothing? He can't improve? Why? Why is he not given an opportunity to even improve his skills? That's the whole point of practice. I understand not letting him go with the ones at this point. You've made it clear. Maybe even second team, but not even scout team.
But Musgrave wasn't done. Oh no, he doubled down. He started preaching that all this drill work is crucial and the studying is creative, like standing on carpet pretending to call plays is the golden ticket to Canton. That's the same as telling a kid shooting hoops in his driveway that he's basically one step away from the NBA. The way Musgrave framed it, Shedeur's journey sounds more like theater than football. Shedeur's biggest accomplishment this week? Not tripping over a tackling dummy. That's not brutal honesty, that's straight up brutal comedy. And here's the wild part. Musgrave actually tried to pitch scout team duty like it was some kind of art form. Meanwhile, Cleveland fans are sitting there like, how did we turn a first-round headline into a bootleg reality show subplot? The so-called lesson here is that Shedeur is supposed to be learning, but instead, he's trapped in quarterback purgatory. And Musgrave, bless his heart, is out here acting like Shedeur's Neo in the Matrix, plugged into the playbook with secret powers. No, coach, he's not Neo.
In quarterback development, because Kevin even said like development doesn't stop even though you might not be the starter. What does the development look like during the week in the building? Where again you said like you talked about stuff you're doing before and after practice on the field, but like during the week, how are you ensuring that like these guys are still learning the playbook, they're really immersing themselves in understanding, and still progressing when maybe you don't get the on-field kind of validation?
Yeah, there's challenges there because you're not getting the time on task and getting the actual reps. So the drill work is crucial. The studying, I call them simulations, where we do almost stand-up meetings or walkthroughs, both in the meeting room and perhaps out on the grass or even in on the carpet where we have more space. So there's ways that we are trying to be creative, and it happens with each quarterback room in the whole league at all levels of football.
He's just a frustrated rookie trying to figure out how he went from the Sanders legacy to playing pretend Lamar Jackson in scout drills. The funniest part? Musgrave made it sound like Shedeur should actually be grateful. Like, congrats, kid. You're not the starter, not the backup, not even the break glass in case of emergency guy. You're the emergency. But hey, at least you get to wear pads and toss a couple of spirals between water breaks. Honestly, at this point, Shedeur's career might look brighter if the Browns just handed him a clipboard, gave him a whistle, and let him cosplay as the assistant QB coach. At least then, he'd get some actual credit. So what's the real takeaway here? According to Musgrave, everybody's getting scout reps, but Cleveland knows better. Everything's fine. Shedeur's development is right on track. At least that's what they're selling us. But according to every whisper leaking out of that locker room, Shedeur's reps are about as rare as Cleveland playoff wins. And the wild part, the moment his name comes up, suddenly it's news. Suddenly it's controversial. That right there tells you everything you need to know. Cleveland has this magical talent for turning the simplest football logistics into full-blown conspiracy theories.
At this point, y'all are saying he can't do anything right. I recently saw last week when the kicker missed his kick in the last couple seconds, Shedeur went over to give him some words of encouragement, and y'all said that he just wanted some TV time. Newsflash, the only reason why the camera was over there is because Shedeur walked over there. Like, you've been able to have an explanation for everything on why he's not good, why he can't play, but explain why you won't allow him to practice. Explain why you won't allow him to actually get better. Y'all are making it very obvious. You just want to bury him and so we can just stop talking about him.
And Musgrave's long-winded all is well speech only made things worse. Let's break it down. Reporters asked about reps, about picks, about chemistry, and Musgrave started talking like he was on stage giving a TED Talk about quarterback emotions. You could practically see the thought bubble above his head. Please just stop asking me about Shedeur. The man was dodging harder than a politician caught in a headline scandal. And if you listen closely, he probably answered 3 random questions about Joe Flacco just to swerve around saying anything real about Shedeur and the locker room. And you can feel it. The tension is boiling. That quarterback room doesn't look like a team right now. It looks like a dysfunctional family dinner where everyone's smiling fake smiles while waiting for somebody to throw the first plate. You've got Joe with his calm dad energy, playing peacemaker so the whole QB room doesn't flip the table. Then there's Dorian, the overachiever, itching to prove he's ready to grab the spotlight any second. And finally, Shedeur, sitting there like the youngest sibling at family dinner, wondering why nobody even trusts him to hold the car keys. Musgrave calls this healthy competition, but if this is healthy, I don't want to see toxic.
Yo, look, I'm sick and tired of seeing how the Cleveland Browns and the NFL is treating Shedeur Sanders. This right here got me hotter than fish grease. This got me hotter than Texas on an August noon when it's 111 degrees. This right here is bull dookie. I'm trying not to curse. I'm trying to stay kid friendly. But this is crazy. Bro not even running practice squad. They say he not even practicing. He just there.
Now picture the Browns defense in practice, amped up, hungry, ready to devour anything that moves. That's not practice, that's open mic comedy night. And here's the kicker, Musgrave swore up and down that scout team duty is some magical tool for growth, like it's the secret recipe to building greatness. Meanwhile, ask any real quarterback in the league, they'd rather sit bumper to bumper in traffic than waste a season running somebody else's offense. It's busy work. The football version of copying homework in high school. Sure, you're technically doing something, but let's be real. You're not learning much. And for Shedeur, this isn't development. It's punishment with a playbook, disguised as training, but feeling more like exile. But hey, Musgrave swears everything's fine. Everyone's learning, everyone's improving, and Shedeur, oh, he's only 2 plays away, which in Cleveland speak translates to,
he played with the threes. Anyone with half a brain could see 4 of the 5 guys got waived yesterday. He was running for his life. I mean, if I'm that kid's father, uncle, brother, I'm going, you know what? Let us go somewhere we can try and play.
Please.
We can be developed. There never was a 4-man competition. Never. Shedeur was never in the competition. And if that's how the Browns see it, rightfully so. Why'd you draft him? Why'd you draft him?
You'll see the field the same day the world ends and Lake Erie magically turns into a giant margarita. Fans know it, reporters know it, and deep down, Shedeur knows it too. That's exactly why the rumors keep swirling, because there's no chance a player with that much hype and that kind of pedigree is really cool with being the NFL's #1 scout team cosplayer. Naturally, the fan base has gone nuclear. Brown's Twitter looks like a straight-up war zone right now. And then you've got this small but loud group convinced it's all part of some 4D chess plan cooked up by Deion Sanders himself, setting things up so his son eventually gets traded to a contender. And you know what? That theory might actually be the most believable one on the table. Because let's be real, the Browns are not exactly famous for smooth quarterback management. This is the same franchise that's burned through more quarterbacks than most people burn through socks. They treat QBs like disposable razors. Use them once, toss them out, then act surprised when they keep cutting themselves. So the idea that they're somehow handling Shedeur's development perfectly, that's comedy in itself.
Situations were invaluable for Shedeur, for all of our offense. We got a 3rd and 1 where he had a quarterback sneak. I mean, there's just a lot of football, and that's by design with him getting a ton of reps in this game, and then he'll get a ton of reps next week as well. That's all part of our development of our young players.
Yeah, sure. Pull the other one. Shedeur's rookie year looks less like an NFL journey and more like a straight-up hostage negotiation. He's doing everything right, showing up early, staying late, studying the playbook like his life depends on it. And what's he get in return? A couple of scout team throws and a pat on the head from Musgrave like he's some kid at football camp. If this is what they call development, then sitting on a park bench must be training for the Olympics. And the cruelest twist? Musgrave knows exactly how to dress it up. He sprinkles in words like immersion, simulation, an art form, and suddenly it sounds like Shedeur's enrolled in some elite quarterback academy. But fans aren't buying it. They see the body language, the hesitation, the recycled coach speak. They hear the whispers out of camp too. They know this isn't about reps, it's about trust. The Browns don't trust Shedeur enough to give him real snaps, but they're too scared to say it out loud. So instead, they hand out the most boring press conference possible, hoping nobody catches the contradictions. But fans aren't fooled.
Not even running practice squad. They literally just got him there as a mascot at this point because they know that people are buying jerseys. He's literally like he's in the top 5 of #1 selling jerseys in the league, and he can't even get any practice. Yo, listen, we need to start a hashtag right now called Free Shedeur. Hashtag Free Shedeur. This has gotten out of control. The way they treating the Sanders boys, this is horrible. This is like the worst I've ever seen besides Colin Kaepernick.
They're already playing the what-if game. What if Shedeur finally snaps and demands a trade? What if Deion pulls strings behind the curtain? What if this whole scout team saga is just step 1 in some way bigger plan? Every possibility's on the table, and honestly, every single one makes more sense than Cleveland's official explanation, because the official line, it's way too boring, too sanitized, too painfully Cleveland. If Musgrave's so-called honesty was a storm, then the Browns' PR team has been out here in flip-flops, trying to sweep water off the Titanic deck with a broom. The spin has been flat-out painful. They're tossing out the usual buzzwords, development, growth, patience, while the rest of the football world is sitting back watching Shedeur run scout team like a dude who bought VIP tickets and got shoved into the nosebleeds. It's like paying for front row seats at a Beyonce concert only to get told, sorry, you're sitting behind the sound crew tonight. That's the level of disrespect. And the craziest part, Shedeur's actually making the first string defense look silly in practice, and somehow that's being spun as proof he's not ready. Now, if he were out here throwing ducks straight into linebackers' hands,
I was really looking forward to seeing the competition between Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders in the last preseason game. I know it plays out like this sometimes, but a bummer that both didn't have the same opportunities to make plays. Dillon Gabriel played well again, but had good opportunities to make plays. Shedeur Sanders didn't have those same opportunities, so it was hard to make an assessment. This is a Hall of Famer, by the way, too. Hall of Fame quarterback. And he's telling you, it wasn't a fair assessment. One player had an opportunity to make plays, and the other didn't.
then maybe Cleveland would have crowned him the starter yesterday. That's the kind of upside-down logic we're dealing with. The Browns' explanations are so twisted they could win gold medals in mental gymnastics. Simone Biles herself would shake her head at how wild their spins are. At this point, the whole thing doesn't just feel unfair, it feels like a straight-up setup. Shedeur's out here running reps that don't even belong to him, working with a scout team that doesn't match his game at all, and yet he's still standing out. That's like asking a Ferrari to plow a cornfield and then acting shocked when it still glides smoother than the tractor. Even Musgrave, blunt as ever, basically admitted it. But let's be real, he didn't sugarcoat, and he sure didn't hand the kid a participation trophy either. This is Cleveland.
So, Browns reporter from Cleveland, ESPN Cleveland, he hears that Shedeur, Ron, is not even running the scout team right now for the Browns.
Where the brand is confusion, overthinking, and quarterback decisions so bizarre, they make fans wonder if the front office is just throwing darts at a board labeled QB plan. Honestly, it almost feels intentional. Keep everything murky, keep the waters cloudy, because how can you fail if nobody ever knows what the actual plan was in the first place? Genius. Twisted, evil genius, but genius all the same. And now, you can already hear it, the whispers from other teams creeping in, circling like sharks, wondering if Cleveland's chaos might eventually push Shedeur right into their arms. The whispers are only getting louder. Teams across the league are watching Cleveland's chaos like vultures circling fresh roadkill.
Which NFL rookie has sold the most jerseys since the draft? It's not a first-round pick. It's Shedeur Sanders, the 144th pick in the draft. He just outsold everyone, including Travis Hunter, Cam Ward, even Abdul Carter. It's a reminder in 2025 that brand trumps everything.
They see Shedeur wasting away on scout team duty, and they're already licking their chops at the idea of prying him loose. You don't think a quarterback-hungry franchise like Atlanta, Denver, or even New England wouldn't jump at the chance to snatch up Deion Sanders' son if the Browns fumble this situation? Please. Meanwhile, the Browns keep pretending they've got this grand master plan. But if we're being honest, the plan looks more like stalling for time while praying the fan base stops asking questions. Cleveland's front office moves like they're terrified of making the wrong call, so instead they make no call at all. And that indecision is what has everyone buzzing that Shedeur might not even finish his rookie deal here. Imagine the headlines if he leaves. Deion in the stands with a smirk, Shedeur in another jersey lighting up the scoreboard, and Cleveland left holding yet another quarterback regret. The script almost writes itself, and the wildest part? Fans already expect it, because if there's one thing the Browns have perfected,
Cleveland Browns really don't want Shedeur or trying to develop him, trade him off. Trade Shedeur. Why do the Cleveland Browns continue to hang on to a 5th round draft pick who they think in their eyes that he's not the one? I'm just saying. Man, when I went over there on Twitter, and I looked at it, and the first thing came up was ESPN Cleveland, Tony Rizzo, talking about Shedeur Sanders. I said, let me see what Tony's talking about now. Tony says it's been reported to him that Shedeur is not even taking no kind of reps, and he's not even running scouting. Make this make sense.
It's turning potential into pure chaos. If Shedeur can shine in reps that are literally set up to make him look bad, what do you think happens when he's finally handed a real offense? What happens when he's no longer pretending to be a knockoff of somebody else's playbook, but actually running his own? That's when the panic kicks in for Cleveland. Because if Musgrave's words echo too loud, suddenly every GM in the league turns into a shark circling blood in the water, ready to throw out trade offers before the Browns even know what hit them. And that's where Cleveland always trips. They hesitate, they bungle, and if history's any clue, they might even pull the classic Browns move of trading the wrong quarterback just to stay on brand. The energy around this whole situation is shifting fast, and if the Browns don't wake up, they're about to learn that this harmless scout team experiment is actually a lit fuse on a bomb they'll never be able to control once it explodes. So what do you think about all this? Drop your thoughts below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you on the next one.